Around the world, people consume some of the most strangest foods you could ever imagine, like partially developed duck embryo or most infamous fermented shark. But what if I told you that what seems bizarre to you might be considered a delicacy somewhere else? Would you be brave enough to try it? Here are some of the most weirdest foods people actually eat. Balut, Philippines. Let's start with a food that's gained quite a bit of notoriety worldwide. Balut from the Philippines. Imagine cracking open an egg, only to find a partially developed duck embryo inside. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't your typical breakfast egg. Balut is a fertilized duck egg that's been incubated for about 14 to 21 days, allowing the embryo to develop before it's boiled and eaten directly from the shell. In the Philippines, balut is considered a street food delicacy and is often sold by vendors at night. It's typically eaten with a bit of salt, and for many Filipinos, it's a beloved snack that's packed with protein and nutrients. The texture can be a bit challenging for those unfamiliar with it, as you'll encounter everything from the soft yolk to the tiny bones of the developing duck. But why do people eat balut? Beyond its cultural significance, balut is believed to have health benefits, including being a great source of energy and even serving as an aphrodisiac. While it might sound strange to outsiders, for Filipinos, it's a taste of home and tradition. Casu marzu, Italy. Now let's take a trip to Italy, where cheese lovers might be surprised by the existence of casu marzu. This isn't your average wheel of cheese. Casu marzu, often referred to as rotten cheese, is a traditional Sardinian delicacy made from sheep's milk. But here's the twist: it's infested with live maggots. Yes, you heard that correctly. Casu marzu undergoes a unique fermentation process, where cheese flies are deliberately introduced to the cheese. These flies lay their eggs inside, and as the larvae hatch, they begin to digest the cheese, breaking down the fats and creating a soft, creamy texture. The presence of the maggots is what gives this cheese its distinctive taste and texture, and for many that's part of the appeal. However, due to the health risks associated with consuming live maggots, casu marzu is illegal in many parts of the world. But in Sardinia, it remains a cultural staple, often enjoyed during special occasions. For those brave enough to try it, casu marzu offers an intense flavor experience that's unlike any other cheese on the planet. Fried tarantulas, Cambodia. Next, let's head to Cambodia, where you'll find a snack that's sure to give arachnophobes nightmares: fried tarantulas. These large, hairy spiders became a popular street food during the Khmer Rouge regime, when food was scarce, and people turned to unconventional sources of protein to survive. Today, fried tarantulas are still eaten in Cambodia, particularly in the town of Skuon, which has become famous for this creepy crawly delicacy. The tarantulas are typically deep-fried with a bit of salt, sugar, and garlic, creating a crunchy snack that's said to taste like a cross between chicken and crab. While the idea of biting into a spider might send shivers down your spine, for many Cambodians, it's just another tasty treat. Fried tarantulas are rich in protein, making them a nutritious option in a country where food security has historically been an issue. And while it may seem like an extreme food choice, for those who have grown up eating them, it's no different than munching on a bag of chips. Hakkarl, Iceland. This traditional dish has been a part of Icelandic culture for centuries, dating back to the Viking era. But what makes hakkarl so unique and challenging for outsiders is the way it's prepared. Hakkarl is made from the Greenland shark, a species that's poisonous if eaten fresh due to its high levels of urea and trimethylamine oxide. To make it safe for consumption, the shark is buried underground for several months to ferment, allowing the toxic substances to break down. After this curing process, the meat is hung to dry for several more months, resulting in a food that has a strong ammonia smell and a taste that's often described as being somewhere between fish and blue cheese. For Icelanders, hakarl is an acquired taste that's typically eaten during celebrations, such as the Midwinter Festival of Thorablot. It's often served alongside other traditional Icelandic foods like dried fish and rye bread, and while many visitors to Iceland struggle with the strong smell and unusual flavor for locals, it's a connection to their heritage and a reminder of their ancestors' resilience in a harsh environment. Surströmming, Sweden. Sweden's infamous delicacy that's gained a reputation as one of the smelliest foods in the world. Surströmming is a type of fermented Baltic herring that's been a part of Swedish cuisine for centuries, particularly in the northern regions of the country. The fermentation process for surströmming is quite unique. The fish is lightly salted and then left to ferment in barrels for several months. During this time, gases are produced, giving the fish its characteristic pungent odor. In fact, the smell is so strong that many people choose to open cans of surströmming outdoors to avoid stinking up their homes. Despite its overpowering smell, surströmming is beloved by many Swedes and is often eaten in social gatherings. It's typically served with thin bread, boiled potatoes, and onions, creating a combination of flavors that balances out the intensity of the fish. For those who have grown up with it, surströmming is a nostalgic reminder of summer picnics and family traditions. Century egg, China. If you've ever been to China, you might have encountered a dish that looks like it belongs in a museum rather than on a plate. Century eggs, also known as preserved eggs, are a traditional Chinese delicacy that's made by preserving duck, chicken, or quail eggs in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, and quicklime for several weeks to several months. The result is a gelatinous egg with a dark green or black yolk and a translucent amber-colored egg white. The flavor of century eggs is intense, with a strong, slightly ammonia-like taste that can be quite polarizing. But for many Chinese people, century eggs are a beloved part of their cuisine, often served as a side dish or used in congee, a type of rice porridge. Century eggs are not just about flavor, they're also steeped in cultural myths and traditions. Some believe that the eggs were originally created by accident when a farmer discovered a batch of eggs that had been buried in quicklime for several months. Others view century eggs as a symbol of good fortune and long life. Century eggs might seem like an unusual snack to those unfamiliar with them, but for many in China, they're a common and cherished part of daily life. These preserved eggs are also known for their versatility, often being incorporated into various dishes to add a unique flavor and texture. Whether you love them or hate them, there's no denying that century eggs are a fascinating example of how different cultures approach food preservation and culinary traditions. Eskimos, Mexico. Next up, let's journey to Mexico, where we'll find a dish that's often referred to as Mexican caviar. Eskimos are ant larvae harvested from the roots of agave plants, and they've been a part of Mexican cuisine since the time of the Aztecs. These tiny larvae have a delicate buttery flavor and are typically sautéed with butter and spices before being served in tacos or with guacamole. Eskimos have a long history in Mexico, particularly in central regions where agave plants thrive. For many people, this dish is considered a delicacy, and it's often enjoyed during special occasions or festive meals. The taste of Eskimos is surprisingly mild, with a texture that's often compared to that of cottage cheese or scrambled eggs. Despite their humble origins, Eskimos have found their way onto the menus of high-end restaurants in Mexico, where they're celebrated for their unique flavor and historical significance. So, if you're ever in Mexico and feeling adventurous, why not give this ancient delicacy a try? After all, Eskimos are much more than ant larvae. They're a taste of Mexico's rich culinary heritage. Sanok KG, South Korea. If you're looking for a truly unique dining experience, then Sanok KG from South Korea might be just the dish for you. This traditional Korean dish consists of live octopus tentacles that are cut into small pieces and served while still squirming. Yes, you heard that right, the tentacles are still moving on your plate when you eat them. Sanok KG is typically seasoned with sesame oil and sesame seeds, adding a bit of flavor to the chewy texture of the octopus. For some, it's an exciting culinary adventure, while for others, it's a bit too much to handle. Despite the potential risk of choking due to the suction cups on the tentacles, san-of-kg remains a popular dish in South Korea, particularly in seafood markets and specialty restaurants. It's often enjoyed as a delicacy or as part of a larger seafood feast. Tuna eyeballs, Japan. From the bustling izakayas, Japanese pubs, of Japan, comes a delicacy that's sure to catch your eye: tuna eyeballs. In Japan, tuna eyeballs are considered a delicacy and are often served as an appetizer or snack at bars and restaurants. The eyeballs are typically boiled or steamed and served with a bit of soy sauce and garlic. The texture is gelatinous, and the flavor is mild with a slightly fishy taste. But what makes tuna eyeballs truly unique is their nutritional value. They're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are known for their heart-healthy benefits. Tuna eyeballs are a great example of how Japanese cuisine emphasizes using every part of the animal, minimizing waste, and making the most of what the sea provides. While they might seem strange to outsiders, for many Japanese people, tuna eyeballs are just another delicious and nutritious way to enjoy the bounty of the ocean. Fried guinea pig, Peru. Now let's travel to the Andean highlands of Peru, where we'll encounter a dish that's been a staple of Incan cuisine for centuries: fried guinea pig, or kai. Guinea pigs have been domesticated in the Andes for thousands of years, originally raised as a source of meat rather than as pets. Today, kai is still a popular dish in Peru, particularly during festivals and special occasions. The guinea pigs are typically roasted or fried whole, often served with potatoes and corn. The meat is tender and flavorful, with a taste that's often compared to rabbit or dark poultry. Kai holds a special place in Peruvian culture, not just as a food source, but also as a symbol of tradition and celebration. In some regions, guinea pigs are even used in religious ceremonies, where they're believed to have spiritual significance. So, while the idea of eating guinea pig might be unsettling to some, for Peruvians, it's a connection to their history and heritage. Blood soup, Poland and Thailand. In many cultures, blood is used as a key ingredient in various dishes, and one of the most famous examples is blood soup. This dish takes on different forms depending on where you are, with two notable variations being czernina from Poland and larb from Thailand. In Poland, czernina is a traditional soup made from duck or goose blood, combined with vinegar to prevent clotting, and then cooked with ingredients like dried fruits, spices, and vegetables. It's often served during festive occasions and is considered a hearty and warming dish for cold winter days. On the other hand, in Thailand, larb is a spicy salad made with minced meat and often includes fresh pig's blood as an ingredient. The blood adds a rich, earthy flavor to the dish and is believed to have health benefits, including boosting energy and strength. While blood soup might sound unusual to some, for those who have grown up eating it, it's a comforting and familiar meal that's steeped in tradition. Whether you prefer the sweet and savory flavors of czernina or the spicy kick of larb, blood soup is a fascinating example of how different cultures incorporate every part of the animal into their cuisine. Witchetty grubs, Australia. In the vast Australian outback, the indigenous Aboriginal people have been living off the land for tens of thousands of years, and one of their traditional foods is the witchetty grub. These large, white larvae of moths are considered a staple in bush tucker, the native Australian diet. Witchetty grubs are often eaten raw or lightly cooked over an open flame. They have a soft, buttery texture and a taste that's often described as similar to scrambled eggs or chicken. For the Aboriginal people, witchetty grubs are a valuable source of protein and have been a part of their diet for generations. Today, witchetty grubs are still eaten in some parts of Australia, particularly in indigenous communities, and they've even made their way into modern Australian cuisine. Chefs in upscale restaurants have begun incorporating these ancient delicacies into gourmet dishes, celebrating the rich history and culture of the land's original inhabitants. So, whether you're in the outback or at a high-end restaurant, witchetty grubs offer a unique and authentic taste of Australia's culinary heritage. Gelid moose nose, Canada. In the remote regions of northern Canada, hunting has long been a way of life, and nothing goes to waste when it comes to using the animals. One of the more unusual dishes you'll find in these areas is gelid moose nose, a traditional dish that's exactly what it sounds like: moose nose that's been boiled and then set in a gelatinous mold. The preparation process for gelid moose nose involves carefully boiling the nose to remove any hair and then cooking it until the meat becomes tender. The meat is then sliced and set in a jelly made from the broth, creating a dish that's both savory and rich in texture. For many northern Canadians, gelid moose nose is a reminder of their connection to the land and the animals they rely on for survival. It's often served during special occasions and is considered a delicacy among those who appreciate the unique flavors of wild game. While gelid moose nose might not be for everyone, it's a testament to the resourcefulness of those living in harsh environments where every part of the animal is utilized and respected. Beyond South Korea. Returning to South Korea, we find another street food favorite, Beyond, or steamed silkworm pupae. These crunchy snacks are commonly sold by street vendors, especially at festivals and outdoor markets. Beyond is a popular snack in South Korea, often served in small cups with toothpicks, making it easy to eat on the go. The silkworm pupae are usually boiled or steamed, and then lightly seasoned with salt or soy sauce to bring out their earthy flavor. The texture is a bit crunchy on the outside with a soft, almost nutty interior. For many Koreans, Beyond holds nostalgic value, as it's often associated with childhood memories of visiting street markets or local fairs. It's not just a snack but also a symbol of South Korea's street food culture, which thrives on quick, affordable, and tasty bites. Beyond has a long history in Korean cuisine, with roots in times of food scarcity when people had to get creative with their food sources. Today, it remains a staple street food, beloved by many for its unique taste and crunchy texture. While Beyond may seem strange to outsiders, it's a great example of how street food can reflect a nation's history and culinary ingenuity. So, if you're ever in South Korea and looking for a quick snack, Beyond is worth a try. It's a true taste of Korean tradition. As we've traveled across the globe exploring some of the weirdest foods people actually eat, it's clear that what might seem strange to one culture is often a beloved delicacy to another. From fermented shark in Iceland to silkworm pupae in South Korea, each of these dishes tells a story of tradition, resourcefulness, and culinary creativity. Food connects us to our history and brings us closer to the cultures that make our world so diverse and fascinating. So, the next time you find yourself faced with an unusual dish, why not take a bite? You might just discover a new favorite, and even if you don't, you'll have an unforgettable story to share. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of strange and unique foods, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content. And let us know in the comments, what's the weirdest food you've ever tried? We'd love to hear your stories. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.